Youth's Displaced Aggression Against In- and Out-Group Peers, an experimental examination by Lisa Camillo, Angela Pangilinan, and Shrina Patel.
This article studies aggression presented by Dutch youths. Aggression is defined as any behavior that is intended to harm another person. There are two main types of aggression: direct aggression, which is when the target is a provocateur, and displaced aggression, which is when the target is innocent of any wrongdoing but is simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Often, displaced aggression happens because the individual cannot let their aggression out on the provocateur because they are no longer at the scene of the incident, or the individual is afraid to let their aggression out on the provocateur. An example of this would be if the provocateur is stronger or more powerful, an individual is less likely to let their aggression out on said person and take their aggression out on an innocent bystander. This bystander is known as a scapegoat. A recent study on young adolescents showed that when situational factors and dispositional factors are presented simultaneously, displaced aggression is likely to happen. There are many different factors that can cause displaced aggression, aside from the provocateur's size and their presence. Oftentimes, displaced aggression may be disproportionately directed against individuals who their aggressor perceives as dissimilar, i.e., outgroup members. There have been studies done that show that targets of displaced aggression are normally different from the person that is letting out their aggression. Normally, the stronger the dissimilarity between the aggressor and the potential targets of displaced aggression, the higher the level of displaced aggression may be. Race is one factor that is often the cause of displaced aggression. This article studies Dutch youths and if they are more likely to displace their aggression on the Moroccan youths or Dutch youths. The Moroccan descendants have been prejudiced for many decades, and that is how the Dutch youths have grown up seeing them. This article examines whether or not the Moroccan youths will be used as scapegoats or not. The reason this study is being done on young adolescents is because the younger age group has not had the opportunity to have the negative connotation of the Moroccans ingrained as deeply yet.
Participants who receive negative peer feedback would exhibit greater levels of displaced aggression against out-group Moroccan peers than against in-group Dutch peers. The researchers of this experiment expected that the participants that had a stronger disliking or negative attitude towards the Moroccan individuals would be more likely to displace their aggression on them. The participants that received neutral feedback were less likely to display levels of aggression on either groups.
For the method in this experiment, there were 137 Dutch youths who participated. They were aged 10 to 13 years old, 51% were boys, and 100% were Caucasian, and predominantly from the middle class. The participants were also from public schools in the Netherlands, and the parental consent rate that the participants obtained was 84% and 100% in their own asset. Children completed a 5-item measure assessing attitudes toward Moroccan peers approximately 2 weeks before the experiment. The 5 attitude items stated: most Moroccan children are untidy, most Moroccan children do not have a good character, most Moroccan children are smart, most Moroccan children are unkind, and most Moroccan children are helpful. The 5 attitude items were scored on a scale ranging from 1, strongly agree, to 4, strongly disagree. Negative items were recoded, and all items were summed to yield a total score. Higher scores indicate more positive attitudes, and 15 filler items were added to disguise the purposes of the experiment.
In the experiment, participants were tested individually at their schools. Survivor was the name of the internet contest that the participants were told to compete in. The players are evaluated by a panel of 4 same-gender Dutch peer judges from different schools. A photo of the participants was taken for peer judges to see on the Survivor website. Next, a personal profile was completed by the participants. After a short wait, participants were given 3 minutes to look over the judge's feedback, which was 4 statements. Participants could read what a particular judge said by clicking on the judge's photo. Participants were randomly assigned to receive negative feedback or neutral feedback. Negative feedback consisted of 3 negative statements and 1 neutral statement. Neutral feedback consisted of 2 neutral statements, 1 positive statement, and 1 negative statement. As a manipulation check, participants rated two statements. The judges mostly said positive things about you, and most judges did not seem to like you very much. 1 equaled completely agree to, 5 equaled completely disagree.
The uninvolved peers were introduced by a short and basic profile. The pilot study was conducted to ensure that potential targets did not differ in terms of facial attractiveness. The next part of the experiment was used to measure displaced aggression. The default fee was €2 for participants. They could either leave this amount unchanged, subtract €1 or €2, or add €1 or €2. Displaced aggression was indexed as the total number of euros participants subtracted from the earnings of the innocent peers.
Finally, participants were thoroughly debriefed and told that there were no judges and the feedback that they received was bogus. They were informed about the true purpose of the study and the need for deception.
As the researchers expected, aggression was higher when the participants received negative feedback compared to neutral feedback. Aggression was also more often displayed on out-group Moroccan participants rather than in-group Dutch participants. More negative feedback resulted in more aggressive behavior towards the Moroccan outgroup than Dutch in-group participants, which led to them more often taking away euros from innocent participants. Neutral feedback resulted in similar amount of aggression towards Moroccan outgroup and Dutch in-group, which led to participants usually leaving the amount of euros the same.
This graph shows the variances in the Dutch youth's displaced aggression. The Dutch individuals that received neutral feedback deducted smaller amounts of euros from those that were innocent participants. They also did not show prejudice against the Moroccan outgroup. However, the individuals that got negative feedback were more inclined to take away euros from the other participants, particularly the Moroccan outgroup.
This showed that ethnicity did in fact play a factor in who the participants displaced their aggression toward. Participants tended to show more anger towards Moroccan outgroup participants than Dutch in-group participants. The limitations include Dutch participants that did not go to school with many ethnically diverse people. Also, this experiment focused on using participants which were of the same gender. Further studies should include more participants of all ages and mixed genders. It should also examine Dutch participants' displaced aggression on other ethnically different groups, not only Moroccan.
This study was able to conclude that negative peer feedback can yield substantial levels of displaced aggression. It was shown that, normally, the targets of displaced aggression are individuals of the outgroup. The Dutch youths were more prone to targeting the Moroccan youths, even though they did not provoke the Dutch youths. The Moroccan youths were used as scapegoats by the Dutch youths.